Hey Church Girl, welcome to Church Girl Gang, a podcast where we get to talk about life, living for Jesus, and everything in between, and how that affects us in the here and now. My name is Kenzie, and I'll be your host, and I can't wait to dive into this conversation with you. Hey Church Girl, welcome back to the podcast. Just a reminder, my name is Kenzie and I will be your host for this podcast. But I am so super pumped about today's episode because we are going to have a panel of church guys on the podcast today. Yes, you heard me right. Up until now, we have had only girl guests on our podcast because, of course, this is the Church Girl Gang. But a lot of you have submitted your own questions to ask these church guys, questions that you haven't had answered by church guys before. And so they're going to be answering your questions today. And I can tell you it's going to be a really fun episode. Before we dive in, I also want to say welcome. If this is your first time listening to the podcast, welcome here. We've seen a lot of new people come and join us over the past few weeks on the podcast, and I'm really pumped about that. And I'm just so glad that you're here and that you're joining our Church Girl Gang. We're ecstatic to have you. But with that being said, why don't we jump into the conversation? All right, church girls, welcome to this conversation with my fantastic friends, the Church Guy Gang. Should we call you guys the Church Guy Gang? Or should we just adopt you into the girl gang? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Come on now.
Let's go.
All right, awesome. Well, I got my Church Guy Gang here, my good friends Rowdy and Josh, who are from Austin, Texas, Austin natives. We actually all work together, serve together at the same church. And so I'm glad you guys are on here joining in. And then my good buddy Trev, who lives in Hawaii. And I'm sure I didn't say that right. But Trev, how do I say it the right way?
I mean, a lot of people say like Hawaii. A lot of people also pronounce the W like a V, Hawaii. But a lot of times with locals, what you'll hear is kind of like a mix between the two. I say Hawaii.
Hawaii. So there you go.
Still there, but it's more of a what than a why, I guess.
Gotcha. So I definitely butchered it, but
no, it's I think people generally get the idea of what it is. So
perfect.
I'm not too bothered by it, to be completely honest. Yeah.
Well, as you can hear, Trev is like the nicest person that I know. We went to college together at Grand Canyon University, Lopes Up all the way. Yeah. And so that's where I know Trev from. He's also serving in ministry and doing a great job where he's at. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves in any way? Something that we should know about you, Rowdy?
Yeah. So I am the student pastor at the Connection Church. Like I said, like Kenzie said, I get to serve alongside Kenzie and Josh in youth ministry and the ministry at the Connection Church. I am a husband. My wife and I have almost been married 3 years in August. We have an 18-month-old daughter, and then we have a little boy on the way due in July. So life has been fun, crazy, and a mix of in between. So it's been fun.
That's good. Josh, what do you want to tell us?
Yeah, well, I get to serve with you and Rowdy at the Connection Church. I am the youth worship director. Yeah, so I'm in charge of music, a lot of stuff like that. We get to make a lot of music. I mean, we just came out with our EP, so a lot of fun stuff. I am a husband. Me and my wife, we've been married for 2 years. And we have a little girl, and she just turned 1 last week. So a lot of, and none on the way yet. So we're waiting a little while.
Yeah, that's good because I was hanging out with you guys last night, and she is moving and grooving. She's a little handful.
Oh yeah,
I mean, in the best way.
She's going.
And she's got the best dance moves too. Actually, both of your girls do. They've got great dance moves. I don't know.
Yeah.
Awesome, Trev. What do we need to know about you, Trev?
Yeah. So, as Kenzie mentioned, I live in Hawaii, specifically the island of Oahu. And I'm the music director at a church called Anchor Church, which is in Kaneohe, which is like the east side of the island. And I guess I could probably say my Insta bio, which sums me up pretty well. But I play drums, not ladies, and but at the and
I like
Nice.
that, bro.
oh, appreciate it. Yeah. Nah, and yeah, I mean, for me at the moment, I'm just happily single, but just kind of just waiting for the right one, I guess you could say. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, listen, this podcast goes out to a lot of church girls, so you never know.
Uh-oh.
Ladies, he's single.
So
He's
hey,
single.
put his at somewhere
Oh,
so they can go to his Instagram.
Maybe we'll drop it. We'll drop it below in the.
Oh my God.
Look for it. It may be there. We'll see.
What is happening?
All right. Well, today.
gonna have like a bunch of followers from specifically Texas, and then that's how I feel like I'm gonna know. Is it
Yeah.
a lot of followers from Texas, Kenzie? Or is it
Oh yeah,
more
we've got listeners from all over actually. But yeah, a lot of followers in Texas, some in Phoenix, a lot in New Jersey. So New Jersey folks, we see you. Some
yeah.
in the Philippines, Germany. Yeah, we've got folks from all over, but a lot of Texans. So yeah, Trev, if you see your Instagram fill up with Texan girls, I guess they enjoyed what you had to say on this podcast.
I guess I should know where they come from. Yeah.
Yeah. So good. Okay, well, as you can hear, we're going to be talking today about, specifically some questions that church girls wanted you guys to answer. So we've been collecting some questions from church girls of all age ranges from high school on up. And so y'all get ready to answer some of these questions. But we're going to be talking about relational things. I think specifically that's going to come up a lot in our conversation. And I was wondering, just to start with, we love to have fun on the podcast. Okay. We love to have a good time. Do you guys have any like funny dating moment stories that you could share with us? And, I don't know if any of them have to do with your wives, you guys, but y'all, I don't know, y'all be nice to them if so. But do y'all have any stories you want to share? Josh, you got something in mind?
I mean, not like anything embarrassing. So I guess it's pretty embarrassing. So when I met my wife, we actually met at Disney World. Yeah, we met at Disney World. So it was a band
a magical
trip.
place.
Yeah, it was a band trip. So we went to the same school. I just never saw her. But when I saw her, I was just like, oh, that's my wife. Like I felt it. I felt God speaking to me, but like I never talked to girls really. So when I went to go talk to her, I like literally spit it out. I was like, "Hi, I'm Josh." I was like, "Someday you're gonna be my wife." And
oh my gosh.
she looked at me so as if I was a creep, and then I started to follow her, trying to talk to her and everything, but it ended well. She ended up being my wife. So, God is good. God is good.
Hey, all the time, bro. All the time.
Oh my gosh. Trev, do you have anything for us? Any story you want to share?
I'm like, actually, yeah. I mean, I heard about this girl at my school. She liked me, and I was like, oh, well, that's really cool. Because normally I wasn't at the time. I could not tell like if a girl liked me or not.
Uh-huh.
And so when I heard from a friend of mine, oh, she likes me, I kind of went forward, and I just kind of put myself out there, and I was like, well, you go on a date with me, milady. And it kind of just slipped out. I didn't intend like at all. And yeah, it went well. I mean, I think she was kind of shocked that I said that, but also I think she was somehow flattered. So But yeah, it ended up working out for a little bit though. So yeah, it was awesome.
That's so good. That's so funny. I'm assuming this was after I graduated. I'm thinking, because is that right? I don't think I was around for that.
Yeah. A little after.
That's funny. That's a good story. Rowdy, what do you got for us?
Man, I really am trying to think. Geez, man. Well, my wife and I met in college, and we were, I mean, it's not really a dating story, and probably I wasn't saved, so I'll just clarify by saying that. And we were really good friends, and there were some moments where we would hang out, and like all of us, and she had told me that she liked me, and actually she said she loved me. And so that answers the question if it's ever later who said it first. She did. I know you had her on the podcast, and I think she did clarify that as well, but I'm just doubling back on that.
Uh-huh.
And it was just really awkward because there were some of her roommates there, and they knew her boyfriend, and it was just a weird. That was a weird time. I don't know if that answered the question. I don't think we have any funny dates. I was a very cheapskate on dates. So she would pay most of the time.
Yikes.
Or we go like to McDonald's, and that's where I would pay. But yeah, not really anything crazy. She just told me she loved me, and I did tell her I loved her too as a friend. So that was kind of bad, but not good. I don't know. I'm not good at this. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's
basically
okay.
I'm saying that I'm at that time I was, I guess, more controlled than my wife. So it's changed now for sure. But that's what I got. Sorry, Kenzie.
That was, that was the story. It didn't really make me laugh. That's what I was looking for, but it was.
That was terrible.
It was. That's not what I said. That's not what I said. Thank you for sharing, Rowdy. I appreciate it.
Of course.
All right. Well, here's what we're going to do right now, you guys. We're going to get into some of these questions from church girls. Now, they've submitted these questions anonymously. But girls, if you submitted your question, you may hear it right now and get an answer. So some of these are like pretty serious questions, I would say. And maybe you can give some solid thoughts on these things. And some of them are just fun questions. I don't know how else to put them. So here we go. The first question that I have is, why is everything a competition? Or is everything a competition? Apparently girls think that everything with guys is a competition. That's what I'm getting from this question. So why is everything a competition?
Oh, wow. I mean, I guess the first thought that comes into my head is like, at least, especially when it comes to like work and stuff, I always want to like one up myself and like always like be at the best of my game. I don't know. So it's more of a competition with myself more than anything. I don't know. I don't really get too competitive with others unless it's like winning like a camp game, if I'm being completely honest. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not though. Yeah. I don't know about you guys.
No, I feel that. I mean, me, I'm just like I'm really a competitive person. Like that's just me. Like that's just my
don't
one
get
of my
Josh started on camp games.
What's up?
I said don't get Josh started on camp games.
Oh, I tear somebody up on that one. I'm just saying, like,
I'm telling you, and once Steal the Bacon happens, it's all. I feels weird saying this on the Church Girl podcast, but all hell breaks loose.
No, now we'll have to put the explicit on. I'm just kidding.
No, but yeah, like that's one of my characteristics, and
that'll bring more listeners in, right?
Yeah.
That is true. Yeah, it will. Nah. But like that's one of my characteristics is being like really competitive. Mm-hmm. So like some of the times Trevor's a lot better than I am. So like most of the times it's just like I want to beat you. Like to be honest, like I think winning is fun. I like winning. I like holding that title. But like most of the time, if it's not something like that, like I really think it's just like pushing myself, because like I think like myself personally, like I don't look as myself. So, like I struggle a lot of the time to look at myself as a winner, because like I feel like I should be better at a lot of things that I'm not, typically. So like the competitiveness comes out like either when I see like another man that's better than me, at a certain like manly aspect, and I'm like, okay, like I feel like I have to jump in and be like, extra manly or whatever that means, but like that's just like me personally, like that's how I feel. But like most of the time my wife does a really good job of, telling me like, oh, you're manly, like even though like I don't really know how to change an oil in a car, like I know how to change a tire. I know how to change a tire, but like, you know what I mean? Like stuff like that. Like, but she does a really good job of like encouraging me. So, I mean, I don't know. What do you think, Rowdy?
Yeah, I think I'm with both of you. I'm extremely competitive. And I hate to be the one that like brings it down to a serious moment. But for me, I grew up without a father for 13, 14 years of my life. And so where it wasn't as like the whole man thing, it's turned into that, and I can walk into that too. But like, I just have always been super competitive. I'm a really poor loser. Like I don't like to lose. But what I've learned is, I'm not that I'm okay with losing, because I don't want to admit that on here or ever. Like I'm never okay losing. I'm just really bad at it. But what I've learned is the competing for myself, or like, competition with myself in the side of like, relationally, and really what it's taught me is like losing is one thing, but when you stay in that mindset of I've lost, I'm a loser, it's more about like getting up. And so what I've really developed, I think, and Josh or Kenzie probably could pour more into this a little bit, I mean whatever, but I really used to have a hard time of like getting back up from a tough loss, whatever it is in life, in a basketball game, or whatever that looks like, a fight with a friend. But what I more see it is like, why is everything a competition? For me, it's because I want to prove to myself and my family and people around me, like Rowdy's going to get knocked down, but he's going to keep getting back up. And so I don't care if you lose, if you stay down after the loss, that's where the real loss is. And so for me, yes, to answer the question, everything is competitive. Absolutely. I don't think that's a man thing. I think as men, we like to fix things. That's our thing. But as far as competition, I think absolutely for me, everything is a competition, but it just depends on how you look at it.
Nice.
Yeah, that's good.
That was good, yo. All right.
I related to all that on like a deep level. Shoot.
Y'all can be friends now. All right, BFFs. Church guy gang. All right.
Guy.
Here is the next question. I'm gonna try to help work around this one. The question is, do guys always use 5-in-1 when they shower, or do you use separate shampoos and conditioner? How meticulous are you with self-care?
Okay, I'm going to jump in front of this.
Yeah.
And just the elephant in the room. I don't have a lot of hair on my head, so I'm going to pass this over to Trevor and Josh. But what I will answer is I do have a separate shampoo and conditioner for my beard.
Wow.
I'm just going to jump out in front of that.
Great beard. Wish I could have one like that.
Yeah.
Well, I wish I could have hair like y'all. So, to each their own.
Bro, it's not that bad, bro. It's not. It's really not.
Selick mustache on me. That's about it. And it kind of grows out.
Bro, the mustache is in, man.
It is.
Just not on me, but on you, it looks great, Trevor.
Oh, thank you. You're far too kind.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. I guess I can. I don't know. I got a lot of hair on my head, so I would say. I don't know. I mean, my dad always used like Head and Shoulders growing up, so I kind of just use Head and Shoulders if I'm being completely honest. I only started getting really good with like self-care, like doing like skincare and stuff like that, like kind of recently. I don't know if y'all know, but Pharrell's like literally like he's one of my favorite like producers, like as a musician, and like
great guy, great producer.
That was a myth about him was like, how is he like almost nearing like 50, I think, and he's still looking like he's like in his 20s. Like if you look at a picture of him now, like
it looks exactly the same.
Yeah, and I mean, partly that might be like Asian genes, because we I don't know, because I'm like half Asian, and it's kind of like we all look young until like the age where everything just like wrinkles pretty much, and then we just look old for the rest. But yeah, no, I just started getting into like more like, you know, moisturizing and just like washing my face properly with like all this other stuff. So yeah,
all right,
I guess you get a little meticulous, but
yeah,
now before I wasn't.
It's with age comes growth.
Oh yeah.
Josh, this next question is for you. I'm gonna have you answer this. The question is,
okay.
Do guys have complicated thoughts too? And I think what was trying to be asked is, even though it's stereotypical, it's true. Girls have very complicated thoughts. We're always thinking about things and analyzing and all of that. Josh, do guys have complicated thoughts too?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't think it's exactly the same as a woman, but like guys do have very complicated thoughts. Like there's a lot of worry, there's a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of, you know, the unknown that, you know, men are typically scared of.
Mm-hmm.
You know, also being like, you know, a provider, you know, for one, your home, if you're married and you have a family, and also being, you know, that the leader of a relationship, you know, just in general, like being like, man, am I leading this right? Or am I leading, you know, the person I so called to say that I love astray from Jesus, or am I pulling them, you know, closer, you know, and, you know, the complicated thoughts, you know, they get like super deep too. Like, you know, like Rowdy was saying, like why, you know, with the whole competitive thing, like why am I this way? And I think like, you know, for men, like if you can't say that question, like, you know, that's a scary place to be in, because like I've recently, like I didn't ask myself that question until I was maybe like a year into marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's what was like the scary part, because like I grew up in like a big, you know, a household. You know, we always went to church, we always served. I had a great father, but the thing was is that like I always felt like I had like these big shoes to fill. And, you know, like I couldn't get out of the mindset of the big shoes rather than becoming myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I was trying to become my father. And then, I mean, you know, my brother's an amazing man. And then like, you know, thinking that, oh man, like now the shoes are even bigger, you know, my brother's doing great things, and, you know, trying to, you know, kind of like fall in suit and seeing like, oh, what am I going to do next? So like my thoughts kind of like progressively got, you know, bigger and sometimes worse, you know, about myself, you know, self-imagery. But with that, like, I really just had to like, you know, just dive into the Bible and see what God, you know, says about me, and really, you know, what is God's plan for me? You know, what is God's purpose for me? What does that look like? Asking questions like, why do I do the things that I do? And, you know, kind of going into that, like, you know, Jesus always, you know, led people, you know, to a place of peace, a place of, you know, where they could just, you know, relax. And I found myself in a place of just always like with anxiety, always with like, you know, worriedness. And I was like, man, this is not, you know, like, this is not from the Lord. Like, I know that. And, you know, trying to figure that out as a husband now and as a father, like, I don't want to lead my family that way. I don't want to, you know, because like, we usually tend to like let our emotions lead a relationship. And like, you know, that goes for ladies. Like if your man is leading, you know, your relationship by his emotions and not by what is true and what is factual through the Bible and what Jesus says, like that is a very scary place to be in, because us as men, we have to put our emotions in check so that we can follow what Jesus says. And, you know, that's like the biggest thing. And, you know, it's funny, like Rowdy's actually really helped me, you know, through that, because Rowdy's like, you know, he's one of my closest friends. He pushes me to be a better man. And he was the one that was like, hey man, like you're an emotional leader, and why? And that was one of the kind of milestones in my life where I was like, I don't know, why am I like that? And he was there to really like push me and become a better father, become a better husband. And I mean, that kind of like that was very big, but I hope that answered the question. I don't know if they have anything to say about that.
I think the answer, do guys have complicated thoughts too? Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
we got the full thing. That was awesome, Josh. Thank you for sharing that.
Oh yeah.
Okay, this one I'm gonna toss to Trev. All right, you ready for this? Do guys check repetitively or even care if girls are messaging them back? Are you paying attention to that? Are you? Yeah.
I guess not. I mean, not particularly. I think if I didn't hear from them after maybe for at least a day, or maybe not at least a day, but if I haven't heard from them in a while, I'm definitely gonna at least check up to see, especially if I left a question. Because I don't know. For me, I'm always wanting to leave the conversations on a good note, especially if it's on text. Or so. Yeah, I don't check it too repetitively, but yeah, I mean, I do care for at least, yeah, not even just girls, but just anybody, but yeah, with girls, if I haven't heard them back in maybe a day, maybe I'll just send a checkup text, not in a creepy way though. Not in a creepy way. I know when I know when sometimes they don't want to be talked to, but yeah, not.
Yeah. I know.
I don't though.
Oh, I know it's been a minute since Rowdy, Josh, you guys have been in the dating scene, but maybe you'll remember this. Okay, so let's say you didn't, and Trev, you can answer this too. Let's say you didn't message a girl back. What happened?
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Say we're that.
I'm just turning it around. Yeah.
Oh.
One more time. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay, so let's say I'm turning this question around a little bit, because the question was, do guys check if girls are messaging them back? Okay, so if a girl is checking, she's waiting for the message back. But let's say you don't message back. What has happened? Why is she not getting the message back from you?
I think and again, ladies, if you're listening, I know Kenzie was saying that Josh and I've been at the dating scene. If you are married, please don't. I know, Kenzie, you were joking, but I feel like a lot of people have bought that. You're in a marriage, you're still dating. I oftentimes will say my lifelong girlfriend, and I know that gets, whatever, it's a joke or whatever. She is my wife. Absolutely. And it is in different contexts than a girlfriend, but that is my girlfriend. She's still my girl. That's my best friend. That's my girlfriend. That's my wife. So don't get caught up in stop dating. And husbands, if you're saying, hey, I'm going to tune in, there's some boys on the podcast, I'm going to listen. Don't stop dating your wife. Remember the little things is what you fell in love with. You have to remember that, because it will get. I'm only 3 years in, and trust me, there are some things that I thought were so cute, and I'm sure, Megan, the same thing about me. But you have to remember to continue to fall in love with those little things every single day.
That's
keep
so good.
Dating your spouse.
Oh, yeah.
I am gonna try to clean sweep through both of these questions. One, I may be different than most dudes, but I probably can speak for majority of us and say that we care a lot more about those little things than we like to admit. We do have deep thoughts. I and certainly have been called a people pleaser at some points in my life. And I want to know why. Why isn't she texting me back? What happened? While Trevor may have the ability and the strength to hold out a day, I'm 2 hours in and I'm like, oh man, what did I do wrong? What did I mess up on? What did I, that's that fixer mentality. That's just where my head goes. And then if I were to not text a girl back, she probably gave me stage 5 clinger vibes. That's probably what happen. I very much like to do things on my own. Megan and I have never been, all up on each other. And is that okay to say, Kenzie? Sorry if I'm not allowed to say stage 5 clingers, but we're aware, there people are out there, boys and girls. That's just where I'm at. Megan and I have never been in a place where we're okay doing stuff separately. And so if I'm at a point where like, hey, I'm going to go hang out with my friends or the guys, like, and she can't be apart without me, that's probably where I cut off that's probably why I'm not reaching back out. If you feel like you're giving me the vibe that you can't breathe without me, even before Jesus, like I'm talking like this is when I was in the dating scene, that's where I was at. We can talk about pedestals and things like that too, but that's if I'm not responding to a text message, it's because there's been things that lead up to the fact that, this girl really probably can't survive without me talking to her or whatever. So that answers 3 questions in one. That was great. Let's move on, because you mined all the gold out of that one. That was awesome, Rowdy. Thank you. And that's the end of the podcast. No, I'm just kidding. It was just so good. It was so good. All right. Here's another question that girls want an answer to. What are the difference? How can you tell the difference? How can a girl tell the difference between friend signals and romantic signals? Okay. Maybe you need a minute to think. I don't know. I was seeing like deer in the headlights kind of things from you guys. I'm also reading these questions and like how I feel like a woman would say this or a girl would say this. So I'm trying to like put my listening ears on, well, and I'm trying to see. I just said it, so I don't know. I just said it, and I am a woman, so I don't know how you're hearing it. I'm sorry. I just feel like there's a hidden meaning behind. I don't. That's the problem. Maybe that's the problem.
Honestly, I was like, I heard that question and I was like, I don't know, but I have to like really think about it. Like, let me decode it for you, because I feel like that's what you're looking for. Me, please. Yes. There is no decoding this question. That's the decoding. It's just, how can a girl tell if you're trying to be their friend or something more? And I think there are a lot of girls. Some girls are good at telling. I think that's just a person thing. Like, guys are probably better. Some guys are better and some guys are worse at this. But for girls who are really bad at telling the difference between friend vibes and more than friend vibes, what should they be looking for? Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah. So I think, like, I mean, if a dude is like trying to be around you, like physically a lot more, I mean, that shows like he's interested in you. I mean, you're just, like you're like just around your friend group and he's like there. Or if he's like trying to talk to you more frequently in person than often, or like hang out with you, like that's just an indication that he's like into you. I mean, text wise, like he's trying to text you all the time. Like he's, he sees something in you and he's like, oh, I'm going to text her. She doesn't text me back in like 10 minutes. I'm going to try to text her again or something like that. Or I don't know. I just think that like somebody like a man that's going to be into you is going to be somebody that, is going to value your time, value your presence, and value who you are. So like, I think like if, it just depends also like, with that question for the ladies, like, who are you where are you looking? It just depends, like where you're looking is what kind of character comes with that atmosphere, what kind of, characteristics or a development through that, place that you're at. Because, like, if you're not trying to find them at church, you can't be finding them at a club, like, and expecting them to be a godly man. And, that's the thing, like, yes, church, it's a house for the broken, but, like, it's for people that are trying to struggle well. And, that's the thing is, like, yes, you want to see who's into you, but, like, where are you looking first is the question.
That's good. That's good. Anyone else? Are y'all good with that?
No, that's a real good answer. I mean, I don't know. Personally, for me, I guess I guess if a guy's going out of his way to like do like acts of service for you, like if he's going out of the way to like open the door for you, or or going out his way to like, and maybe like buying you something unexpected. That tends to be a kind of a good sign of like, hey, I'm kind of into you. That, and if I guess, and I only say this because like some girls that I'm really good friends with oftentimes are looking for this in a guy that they're interested in. But if they can carry like a conversation well, that's how you might know that there might be something there. Because sometimes I've seen it to where girls will try to initiate a conversation with a guy, and the guy's just so disinterested, but they still like go for the guy. And I'm like,
gosh.
And I'm like, okay, like I can understand, like, you know, maybe like doing it like once or twice just to like really try to dig or something there. But after a while, you kind of would think maybe sometimes like they would be like, okay, like, you know, maybe this guy really isn't interested in me at all, and he just wants to be like just like a friend.
Yeah. So just speaking into that, because I was thinking about that with this question. As a girl, I can attest that sometimes, and maybe this happens with guys too, I don't know, but we can be really good at tricking ourselves, especially if you have a big imagination, into thinking that friend signals are actually romantic signals. You know, like, hey, this guy, he showed up at the same place as I did. He was probably looking for me. Well, no, like, y'all both go to church every week, and that's where y'all are at. Like, like it happens every week. You know, like those kinds of things. And so I think really for girls, you know, until you hear something clear from a guy, like, hey, do you want to go on a date with me? You're not dating, you know, like wait until you hear something clear. That's probably when you're going to know best. You know?
I mean, also, like, I think, like, to these, like, young guys and men, like, I think they really just need to man up. Like, you know, like, just being like, hey, do you want to hang out with me? You know, like, none of this, hey, you want to chill? Like, because it's very vague.
Yeah, what does that mean?
And, like,
what does that mean?
Yeah, you know, like, hey, do you want to go on a date with me? Just me and you somewhere? You know, like, I really feel like, you know, I believe chivalry is not dead. But I feel like it's pretty close, you know, with, you know, how everything's going. Just like, if you're a guy and you're listening, chivalry is not dead. And if you don't know what it is, look it up.
Josh, tell him. Let's do a whole podcast on that.
If I can add to what Josh is saying,
go ahead.
too, it's like make sure, like, if you're interested in the girl, be clear, go the extra mile, and yeah, I mean, the more clear you can be, the I think, and the more authentic you can be towards like being clear, the more concrete everything is. Be.
Wow, what an awesome conversation with those guys. And guess what? The fun does not end here. We're actually going to continue this conversation next week on the podcast. That'll be coming out on Monday, as our podcasts do every single week. Before I let you go, I do want to remind you to stay tuned in with us. And the way that you can do that is by following Church Girl Gang on Facebook or on Instagram, or you can follow me by searching at Kenzie Carisse on Facebook or Instagram as well. I would love to hear from you, to say hello, and we like to stay connected as a girl gang, so do join us there, and be sure to press subscribe on whatever platform you're at so that you don't miss a single episode. Well, with that being said, have a fantastic week, Church Girl.